much like I had mentioned, if you wanted to create raster image graphics, do basic photo image editing, and you are serious about being a web designer, it would probably be worth it to purchase the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, which would include Photoshop as well as Illustrator. So if you are serious about creating vector graphics, Illustrator is kind of the go-to tool. There are other alternatives. I didn't mention it down here, but there's like a Affinity Pro, I think it's called. I never used that one. I used to use Corel Draw back in the day. There are other ones, and you can do some research on those on your own if you'd like, and it might be worth investing in that. If you're only ever going to work in a vacuum, those are good ones to use, and they're not subscription based, which is great because I'm very anti that in general. But just so you know, I am going to show you just some alternatives here. So I already showed you real quickly that there's this Vector P. Basically, if you do already know Illustrator, like you've taken Digital Imaging 3 at Cecil or some other place, um, I am not an Illustrator guy, so I don't know exactly how close this is to it, but it is obviously much like Photopea is meant to be a, a replacement. I don't know. It's meant to be kind of a cheap alternative, and it works right inside the browser, which is great. So if that's something you already know, I would just suggest using VectorP because you'd already be familiar with it, and it'd probably be easier. I also had mentioned Logo Maker in a previous video. It's probably the worst of these three options, but if you really feel like you're not that skilled and you're just trying to get some really basic icons out, you can make them in there, although it's not my suggestion just because I think when you export it out, I have to double check again, but I think it only exports out as PNGs, even though while you're working with it, it is um, a, uh, uh, a vector. So I just don't think that that's a great alternative. The one I'm going to show, like in the next example, is actually going to be Foxy SVG, just because I feel like that one is pretty user friendly. It's pretty robust, decently robust, and it has built into it the a way of like grabbing the code and stuff that's really simple. So you can just paste it right inside of your web page, or you can download it as raster images or as vector images. So that's the one we're going to be using. But again, if you are interested in any of this, I would do some research, look at what the various options are, and if you're super interested in it, then probably would be worth maybe investing in Illustrator.